Very good morning to all of you, my dear students. In last class, we have derived an expression for momentum. Momentum is a new term for you, and we have seen that momentum depends on mass and velocity of an object. And we have written P is equal to m into v, where P stands for momentum, m for mass, and v for velocity. So momentum is product of mass and velocity of an object. Now, before deriving an expression for Newton's second law of motion, we will discuss a very important example. Actually, Newton's second law of motion measures force. With the help of this law, we can derive an expression for force, that how we can measure force. But before deriving an expression, there is a very important example in your book. You open page 190, page 119 of NCERT book, and we are reading the last paragraph of left hand side. Now, according to it, let us consider a situation. They are considering a situation in which a car with a dead battery is to be pushed along a straight road to give a speed of 1 meter per second, which is sufficient to start its engine. So there is a car whose battery is dead, and we have to push it, and we have to give a speed of 1 meter per second so that it starts, the engine starts. Now, if one or two person give a sudden push, it means unbalanced force on it, it hardly starts. But a continuous push over some time results in a gradual acceleration of the car to this speed. It means that the change of momentum of car is not only determined by the magnitude of force, but also by the time during which the force is exerted. Now they are saying that yes, the battery is dead, so to start the engine, we have to push the car. Now, if one or two person all of a sudden apply unbalanced force on it, they apply their maximum effort, applying maximum force to push the car, so hardly there is a chance that car will move. So car will not move, and if car will not move, there will be no change in momentum, because initially the car is at rest, and so momentum is zero. But if one or two person continuously apply their effort, then you will see that slowly car start moving. It acquires a speed of 1 meter per second, and engine will start. So what the conclusion is, that the acceleration produced in the object, it does not depend on the magnitude of force. It does not only depend on magnitude of force that we are applying all of a sudden on it, but it also depends on the time for which you are applying the force. Time is a very important factor. If all of a sudden you apply a force and remove your hands, hardly it will start. But if continuously you apply force on it, then you will see that slowly the car acquires a speed of 1 meter per second, and engine will start. So time is a very important factor. Time for which you are applying the force on the object. I think this example is clear to you. So the conclusion is, it means that change of momentum of car is not only determined by the magnitude of force. So for change in momentum, Change in momentum means suppose car is at rest, so momentum is 0. It acquires a speed of suppose 1 meter per second. Then mass of car suppose 1000 kg and its velocity is 1 meter per second, so 1000 into 1, so 1000 kg meter per second. So 0 to 1000 kg meter per second. So this is the change in momentum. So this is not only determined by the force which you are applying on the car, it also depends on the time for which you are applying the force on it. So now you can say that it may then also be concluded that the force necessary to change the momentum of an object depends on time rate at which momentum is changed. So on this basis, we can write an expression for our first statement for Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion. So write a statement for it. Right? It states that the rate of change of momentum. It states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to. It states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force in the direction of the force. So we have written the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to unbalanced force in the direction of force. Now we will derive a mathematical expression for a Newton's second law of motion. So mathematical derivation of Newton's second law of motion, a very important one, very important derivation. So before deriving an expression, you write down suppose an object of mass m. Suppose an object of mass m moving along a straight line with initial velocity u. With initial velocity u. Then write it is uniformly accelerated to velocity v. It is uniformly accelerated to velocity v in time t by the application of a constant force F. Written. So what will be the initial momentum of the object? So initial momentum of the object will be, as we know, momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Mass we have assumed m, and initial velocity is how much? U. So product of mass and velocity, mass and initial velocity is initial momentum. So initial momentum of object is mu. Now final momentum of the object, so again mass into velocity, but there is a change because final velocity is how much? V. So final momentum is mv. And what do you mean by change in momentum? Change in momentum means final momentum minus initial momentum. So change in momentum is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum, isn't it? Then rate of change of momentum. What is the meaning of rate of change of momentum? It means how momentum is changing with respect to time. जहाँ भी रेट लगेगा इसका मतलब है कि with respect to time. So rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. So rate of change of momentum will be, children, simply mv minus mu by t with respect to time. How momentum is changing with respect to time. That is rate of change of momentum. Now according to Newton's second law of motion, we have written that this rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to applied force. So write from Newton's second law of motion, F is proportional. This sign is sign of proportionality. F is proportional to mv minus mu by t. Isn't it? Now this can be written as F is proportional to m, take m common, so it will be v minus u in bracket by t. Now recall in chapter 1, in motion chapter, we have learned that acceleration is equal to how much? Acceleration is equal to v minus u by t. Acceleration is equal to rate of change of velocity. So substituting this value v minus u by t here, so we can write or f is proportional to ma. Now removing this proportionality sign, we are removing this proportionality sign, or we are writing f is equal to kma. F is equal to kma. You write where k is a constant of proportionality, where k is a constant of proportionality known as force constant, where k is a constant of proportionality known as force constant. Now mark it as equation 1. Now suppose in equation 1, if suppose m is equal to 1 kg, A is equal to 1 meter per second square and F is equal to 1 Newton. Suppose mass is 1 kg, acceleration is 1 meter per second square and force is 1 Newton. Then equation 1 becomes so in equation 1 can be written as k is equal to 1 because m is 1, a is 1, f is 1. So simply k is equal to 1 and if k will be 1, better write then k is equal to 1 and equation 1 can be written as f is equal to m into a. So this is the final expression. We have derived an expression to measure force, a very important expression, that force is equal to mass into acceleration, isn't it? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. The product of mass of an object and acceleration of an object, if these two things are known to you, you can measure force. So, what will be the SI unit of force? SI unit of force is Newton. On the name of scientist Isaac Newton, that's why we have written it with capital N, isn't it? The symbol is capital N. So SI unit of force is Newton. You can get a question that define 1 Newton. Write this question. Define 1 Newton. So write an answer for it. Define 1 Newton. Write 1 Newton. 1 Newton is that force. 1 Newton is that force which produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. 1 meter per second square in an object of mass 1 kg. In an object of mass 1 kg. So for numericals, you must remember these two formulas, that F is equal to first F is equal to ma and F is equal to m. This can be also written as m is equal to v minus u by t, because we have numericals based on these formula. So let us solve some of the questions. First, open page 128. Page 128. page 128. Question number 5. Question is, a truck starts from rest and rolls down a hill with a constant acceleration. It travels a distance of 400 meters in 20 seconds. Find its acceleration. If the force acting on it, if its mass is 7 metric tons. So first read the question carefully. Write down the given things. So a truck starts from rest. So what you will write, whenever an object starts from rest or whenever an object is dropped from certain height, in motion chapter I tell you the important points while solving the numericals. So whenever an object starts from rest or dropped from certain height, its initial velocity is 0. So we will write first u is equal to 0. Now rolls down a hill with a constant acceleration. It travels a distance of 400 meters. So s is given 400 meters. Then time is given 20 seconds. Time 20 seconds. Find its acceleration. What you have to calculate? Acceleration and mass of truck. Mass of truck is 7000 kg. 7 metric tons, 1 ton is equal to 1000 kg. So find the force acting on it if mass is 7 metric ton. So mass of truck is 7000 kg. Now to calculate acceleration, you have to use this formula. First, F is equal to ma. So from this formula, if you have to calculate acceleration, then acceleration is equal to, from this formula we can write that A is equal to F by m. Now mass is known to us, isn't it? So how to force we have to calculate, isn't it? First or you have to calculate acceleration. So use which equation of motion you will use to calculate acceleration. Use second equation of motion because time is given. So we can write s is equal to ut plus half at square. So s is 400, u is 0, 0 into 20, time is 20 plus half, a we have to calculate, and then time is how much? 20. So or 400 is equal to, this will be 0, 20 into 20 it will be 400 by 2, so 200, so 400 is equal to 200a, so a is equal to 400 by 200, so 2 meter per second square is the acceleration. And then we have to calculate force also. So to calculate force, mass into acceleration. So mass is how much? Mass is 7000 kg and acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So 14,000 Newton. In this way you have to solve. To calculate acceleration, we are using equation of motion, and since initial velocity and time is given, so we can use second equation of motion, and from second equation we have calculated acceleration first. It is 2 meter per second square. I think it is clear to you. And after calculating acceleration, we are using this first equation to calculate force. Force is mass into acceleration. Mass is given. Acceleration is 2. 7,000 into 2, so 14,000 Newton. Now we will solve question number 6. If you will not attend the classes in regular basis, you can feel that numericals are tough. आपको लगेगा कि न्यूमेरिकल बहुत भारी है, कैसे होगा, क्योंकि 8 के बाद 9 का जो फिजिक्स है वो टोटली डिफरेंट है, वो एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड। हम लोग को हर 2-3 पेज पढ़ने के बाद जो फार्मूला डिराइव करते हैं उस पर बेस्ड न्यूमेरिकल्स बनाना है। पूरा 9 का फिजिक्स इसी तरह है, क्लास 8 से टोटली डिफरेंट। तो अगर आप क्लासेस अटेंड नहीं करेंगे, रेगुलर नहीं रहेंगे, क्योंकि ठीक है अभी लॉकडाउन है, आप घरों में हैं, सेफ है, लेकिन लॉकडाउन के बाद जब भी स्कूल खुलेगा तब तो सिलेबस जो हम लोग पढ़ा चुके हैं वो फिर नहीं पढ़ाया जाएगा, और आपको तब पूरा सिलेबस कवर करना होगा, क्योंकि क्वेश्चंस तो आएंगे ही। हाँ ठीक है, कुछ सिलेबस रिड्यूस किया जाएगा, लेकिन फिर भी अगर आपका कंसेप्ट नहीं रहेगा तो फिर आप न्यूमेरिकल्स नहीं बना पाएंगे। सो मस्ट अटेंड द क्लासेस, ट्राई टू सॉल्व द न्यूमेरिकल्स, एंड यू कैन आस्क मी ऑन माय व्हाट्सएप नंबर। कुछ बच्चों ने होमवर्क बनाया है, मैंने चेक किया और करेक्शंस भी, लेकिन सब बच्चे शायद काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, हमको जैसा लगता है। पता नहीं सब बच्चे क्लास करते भी हैं या नहीं करते हैं, इसलिए सोच रहा हूँ कि अगला क्लास एक गूगल मीट पे लूँ, जिससे सबसे बात हो सके, सबको देख सकूँ, ये भी इच्छा है। लेकिन आप ईमानदारी से अपना काम कीजिए, क्योंकि फिजिक्स इज़ टफ, अ लिटिल बिट टफ इन द सेंस इट मीन्स यू हैव टू गिव योर अटेंशन, यू हैव टू डेवलप अ कंसेप्ट। अगर आप कंसेप्ट बना लेते हैं तो फिर ये लीजिए, कुछ फार्मूला है, कुछ डेरिवेशंस है, कुछ डिफिनेशंस हैं, कुछ यूनिट हैं जिनको आपको समझना है और याद रखना है, और फिर उसका एप्लीकेशन किस तरह हम उसको फार्मूला में पुट करके सॉल्व करें। ठीक है, हम लोग सॉल्व करते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 6। A stone of 1 kg is thrown with a velocity of 20 meter per second across the frozen surface of a lake and comes to rest after traveling a distance of 50 meters. So a stone of 1 kg. So again mass of stone is given. So first write down the given things. Mass 1 kg. And velocity, initial velocity is given, thrown with a velocity of 20 meter per second across a frozen surface of a lake and comes to rest. It comes to rest, then final velocity will be how much? 0. So final velocity is 0 because it comes to rest. And after traveling a distance of 50 meters, S is also given 50 meters. what is the force of friction between stone and the ice? So you have to calculate force. जब भी फोर्स कैलकुलेट करना हो, किसी भी तरह का फोर्स ऑफ फ्रिक्शन, फोर्स और भी फोर्स, तो फोर्स के लिए यही एक फॉर्मूला है, F इज इक्वल टू मास इनटू एक्सीलरेशन. सो इन दिस क्वेश्चन again acceleration is not known to us, isn't it? And time is also not given, so you can't use second equation of motion. तीनों इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन याद है, फर्स्ट चैप्टर में हम लोग पढ़े थे. तो तीनों का यूज हमेशा होता रहेगा. यू मस्ट रिमेंबर इट. V is equal to u plus 80, S is equal to ut plus half 80 square, and third one was twice S is equal to V square minus U square. These equations we have derived in first chapter, motion chapter, but the applications are always in this chapter, in next chapter also. So first try to calculate acceleration. Time is not given. First two equations are based on time, so you will choose this equation, third one, to calculate acceleration, isn't it? So we will write 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So 2 for a we will write a, s is 50, v is 0, u is 20. Simply substitute the values in the formula. So 50 into 2 will be 100a, and it will be minus 400. 20 into 20, 400. So acceleration is minus 400 by 100. So it will be minus 4 meter per second square. So why you are getting acceleration negative? Because frictional force is a retarding force. So gradually its velocity increases and it comes to rest. So it is a retardation, isn't it? Negative acceleration. That's we are getting minus 4 meter per second square. Now calculate force using this equation. We know that force is equal to mass into acceleration. So mass is 1 kg, acceleration is minus 4. So it will be minus 4 Newton. Force will be minus 4 Newton. Or if you will write frictional force, magnitude of frictional force, then you can write simply 4 Newton. Magnitude of frictional force will be 4 Newton. We are getting negative sign because it is a retarding force. So in this way you have to solve the numericals. Now giving question number 8, question number 9 and question number 10. These three questions, homework. Homework NCERT page 128, question number 8, 9 and 10. So these three questions are homework. Now I want to, before completing the class, I want to discuss the questions which I have given as a homework in last class. I think some of the students feel difficulty to draw the graph. The question was, based on momentum, that represent the following graphically: momentum versus velocity when mass is fixed. Although some students have submitted their homework correctly, so momentum versus velocity. Suppose taking momentum on x-axis and velocity on y-axis. Now, as we have discussed that momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Momentum is product of mass and velocity of an object. That is, momentum is directly proportional to mass of the object as well as velocity of the object. Now, momentum versus velocity when mass is fixed. So, mass is fixed. So you think if mass is fixed, how momentum will increase? If mass is fixed, how momentum will increase? When velocity will increase? Isn't it? When mass is fixed, momentum will increase when velocity will increase. It means momentum and velocity are directly proportional. So if momentum is increasing, it means velocity is also increasing in same ratio. So the graph will be a straight line like this. This was the first one and the second one. For second one, you have to draw a graph again, and this was that represent graphically momentum versus mass when velocity is constant. So we are taking momentum on x-axis and mass on y-axis. In this case, velocity is fixed. So look at the formula again. If velocity is fixed, how momentum will increase? If mass will increase, and they are directly proportional. So again, if mass will increase, momentum will increase in that proportion only. So they are directly proportional. So again, graph will be a straight line. So again, you have to draw a graph like this. Understood? And another question was simple that I am not remembering it. that mass is double and velocity perhaps increases 4 times, what will be change in momentum? So you can calculate in this way that initial momentum is mv. Then according to question, if mass is doubled or mass becomes half, I think, and velocity is 4 times like this. So it will be 2 mv. So change in momentum is p2 minus p1. So 2 mv minus mv, isn't it? So it will be mv. Now percentage increase in momentum. Percentage increase in momentum is equal to change in momentum. So change is mv by initial momentum is mv into 100, like this. So it will be 100%. So in this way you can solve. Okay students, for today this much is sufficient. In next class we will further discuss the chapter. Thank you.